Hey everybody, Radaman here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included. So picking up where we left off, I was setting up the project of adding in a sort of transit tube dock checkpoint area here. And that's what I want to continue. So what I'm going to do is sort of lay it out so that you all can see what I have in mind. I'm going to set this to construction 1 so that I don't immediately start building it. But we're going to want transit tubes, one where this is set up, and then one here. So at least 2 transit tubes. And I think I'm good with 2, but if I needed to add more, I could add more. Then after the transit tubes, we're going to want ore scrubbers. 2 ore scrubbers and 2 sinks, I think will be sufficient enough to keep our duplicants' hands clean. I haven't really noticed the need for 3. It's very, very unusual if it does happen. It is a bit, you know, it's always a risk, but that's just a risk I'm going to be taking. So let's go ahead and bring some of these pipes up. And these pipes might get built sooner because it doesn't require a suit dock to get there. Then, much like the last one that we have, I want to raise the roof up so that we have the ability to put in lights. All right, and then what I'm going to want in this spot here is this pneumatic door represents an efficient water lock, much like the ones we have. Let's say here, right? So this represents an efficient water lock. And then on the other side, I'm going to have 2 more pneumatic doors, which will be our nature reserve. So the nature reserve, let me just explain that real quick, I suppose. The nature reserve requires 32 tiles worth of space, up to 120, and 4 wild plants. So what I'm going to be doing here is setting up a nature reserve sort of in name only. I'm going to be building my setting up wild plants in this area up here, and just having the duplicants pass through it briefly as they're traversing through the dock. I believe this will work. I haven't play tested it, but I believe this will work, and this will allow my duplicants to very, very, very quickly get all of the morale bonuses for going through nature reserve without really the strenuous movement. So this technically is a water lock, I guess. I suppose I could demo that like this. And then this is the nature reserve. And then after the nature reserve, of course, the checkpoint. The suit checkpoint. So that would be a checkpoint dock like this. We'll make this out of lead. And then just a bunch of the docks, etc. Because I think we're going to want more than the 6 that we had previous. So that's sort of the idea behind the checkpoint. Now, to that end, the way that you make natural soil. This is a fairly straightforward process, though there's a bunch of different methods, and the way I'm going to be using is to heat up algae or dirt or whatever, or fertilizer. I might use fertilizer just because this is my, this will be my, my nature reserve, and I don't know. I feel like fertilizer. I don't honestly have a good reason for it. And in order to do that, what I'll probably have to do is to reroute the hot oil here to heat up those dirts so that they become natural soils. But I'll demo that when I get there. I'm a little far out from that spot. But what I want to do is I want to set up the infrastructure to be able to support my new docks here. So one of the things I'm going to need is One of the things I'm going to need is gas bridges to bring chlorine so that I can scrub ores. And then I'm also going to need a liquid bridge to bring my sewage back down to my filtration. Like that. Done. We already have half of the pipe, or like a third of the pipe, to the sinks in the first place. Then I'm also going to want to pump out all of this here so that we can filter it. And just get this puddle of water out of the way. Puddle of liquid, I should call it. Not actually water. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be water. At this point, we are filtering for a whole bunch of things, as you know. We're filtering for salt water and brine and polluted water and regular water. So we don't have to be as careful as what we introduce into the filtration lines. And then if it's not one of those things, it goes for an infinite loop, allowing me to cope and deal with it later anyway. So at this point, the really important things for me to do... I forget who mentioned it, but someone mentioned I was missing some heavy wall cables here. I'll get those out. I'm going to set my batteries up. But I'm actually likely to disable my coal generators because when the batteries are introduced, they're empty. And I don't really want the coal generators just running pointlessly. Another thing I wanted to do is to disable the power control station for the natural gas, as I'm not really using natural gas enough to warrant tuning this up. There's just no point into regular tuning that up. So, another really easy to do project is some load balancing. It's just going to be one little gas bridge here, but it will make a significant difference in making sure that our oxygen is load balanced. So that's a fairly straightforward, easy thing to do. Looks like we got some water ready to go. And then once we finish sweeping, what I'm going to do is to temporarily create a wall here so that we can set this area up quickly. Now, I did also have some other exploration that I had queued up, and I want to continue that. So this here we'll be able to dig to, I think. And then we'll be able to dig there, provided we have a ladder. Printing pods. Let's do copper ore. Now over here, we had dug this out. I'm going to create a ladder here so I can start going in the other direction. And then we'll continue this tunnel down to the fossils, because I'm going to want fossils for my steel manufacturing anyway. And then that's going to allow us to explore this area up here, or over yonder. Now on the west front, this is going to just be more abyssalite traversing. Like this. And we'll have that set up. And then at that point, we'll probably have the vast majority of the map revealed. That's going to give us insight as to where our projects can be, where our geysers can get tapped, that kind of stuff. All very useful information. Alright, the priority of this should be a little higher. Or actually, I'll put it into the 7s. Trying to get this liquid cleaned up. Well, now you have sort of the understanding of how I plan on laying this all out, so you at least can sort of see what I'm working towards, which I suspect is important. Alright, let's get some of that more fire pole. It does also mean that this ladder will have to stop. We'll have to traverse over here and continue depending on how many suits we want to dock. So that's a little interruptive, but it's just the way it's going to have to be. Alright, ventilation. I'm going to do a canister emptier here, because I also suspect I'm going to need to remove some chlorine from tanks and plumbing and the like. And we're getting pretty close to having this all swept up. Taking a look at the coal here. No, we haven't actually deposited any coal yet. Once we build the coal generators, they're going to want to kick on immediately because their batteries are empty, and I'm going to have to disable them. Just by choice. I don't really want to burn coal unless we actually have a power shortage. Okay, so now as you can see, the load balancing is kind of working as both pipes are fully backed up, and as time continues, it will also fill up this second tank more and more and more, because more of the gas is going to be sent over there. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. I suppose that's what matters. Now, another nice to have feature is after all these Atmos suit docks, what I could do is I could have a storage bin or a smart storage bin or something like that, which will then be used to sweep everything up automatically. So if I had like a storage bin that was really, really high priority, I could put everything into it, and then I would pull it out. Like if it was priority 8, I could pull it out to a hopper, which would be priority 9, and then send all that stuff down to be sorted down in this sort of sorting station. Because as you can see, these guys here, they just take out stuff that was stored by this auto sweeper and put it into bins that are, you know, close by and are higher priority. And that's one way to speed up commute times. So right now my commutes are like 54% of people's time spent commuting, which is not good. Easily, I will happily say, not good. And the whole point of a transit tube system is to try to reduce that significantly. Now, another thing that will reduce that is to stop exploring. Exploration obviously adds significant commute times, as it takes a while for my duplicants to run around the map and get to everywhere they want to go. Oh, there is slime lung in here, is there not? Yep, let's kill it. I just have a weird personal vendetta. How hot is it? 171 degrees. What is a Buddy Buds? Buddy Buds top out at 100 Fahrenheit, I think. Oh, wow, this goes. Oh, wow, this is a lot more prevalent than I anticipated. Okay, so if that's the case, let's work on it like this. Flower pot, high priority here. Start to beat back the slime lung. Oh, and then there's slime lung. Oh, great, there's slime lung in here, too. I have clearly not been paying attention to my germ overlay in a while. But I needn't worry. This is all solvable. Another thing I could do is deodorizers to start purifying the oxygen. God, they always have a way of auto-saving at like the wrong moments. Alright, so here's some deodorizers. And let's construct 8 here. Alright, so here will be a buddy bud. Oh, I just saw something that worries me. Where's my spore chid seeds? Let me take a look at that. Ah, yes. So, yes, this is, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going anywhere terrible. Okay, so this is barely accessible. Oh, no, this is accessible. Okay, that's good to know. I do have some dangerous seeds around. Alright, so there's the buddy bud. The buddy bud will start putting off floral scent to beat back the slime lung, and I'll plant some more buddy buds, and then the same going over here. This area isn't necessarily accessible. Now the problem is there's so much polluted oxygen over here that the slime lung is going to virulently spread. So I didn't want this episode to become about fighting slime lung again, and I don't intend for it to. I just want to take some precautionary measures so that the spread of this polluted oxygen doesn't become an issue. But let's also put some deodorizers around here, which will help as well. Alright, and then these plants plant buddy buds. So buddy bud, 20 to 40 Celsius, got it. So they are, there's a certain tolerance there that I got to be careful of. So in the really, really, really hot reaches down here, buddy buds aren't going to be all that, they're not going to be tolerant to that temperature. So it's going to be very difficult for me to solve it down there. But if I solve it up here, it won't spread as bad. That's fine. Okay, enough looking down there. Let's see what's going on up here. So the sweeping task's still not yet done, but getting closer, I'd like to think. Alright, I'm going to disable my coal generators. And I don't want any of that stuff. I will reject it all. I don't want the muckroot. I mean, it's smart to have backup muckroot in case of, you know, food scarcities, but I just don't even want it. It's a personal preference. It's not the smart play, and I'm happily saying that. It's not smart for me to reject it, but I'm going to reject it nonetheless. Alright, so the sweep here, this cleaning duty, I'm going to set to 7s, just so that we can finish those buddy buds and stuff like that down there. In terms of skills, Bryce, I'm going to give you plumbing, and I think that's probably the last skill you're going to take for a while. Just waiting for all the germs to die off. So this canister emptier is going to be... I don't even have access to those gases. So the reason I have it built is I'm going to have to empty out these ore scrubbers and the pipes that lead to the ore scrubbers at some point. Which means... maybe I should even disable this gas pump. Which means we're going to have containers of... man, there is... We'll have containers, or canisters of pollutants that I'm going to want to tidy up. Alright, so all this will get built soon. Yeah, we have slime lung even really this close to the base, which is not great. It's starting to spill upwards. So let's get this buddy butt in right away. The deodorizers are doing their job already. They work pretty quickly. And the buddy buds then will offset the slime lung over time and create floral scent. Yeah, this one's already working. It's already pushed the slime lung back. And these up here will work soon, I suspect. Well, that looks good. I'm glad I caught that when I did. Sweeping looks like it's coming to an end. Needs a little bit more time, but it's getting there. Alright, so once this slime lung is beaten back, I'll breathe a little bit better. Literally and figuratively, I suppose. I think my hunt for gold obviously revealed a whole bunch of slime, and I never really worked to deal with that. I never really mitigated that at all. So I will work towards that now. And this will require sweeping eventually. Right now, my priorities of sweeping are up here. As far as shipping goes, I also want to reroute some of my old shipping lines, just to look a little cleaner. So that's going to be a little cleaner. And then we'll clean up the power as well. Just a preference here. It's not all that necessary, just tidying up. Making things look nicer. This is no longer a ranch, so it really doesn't need to look like a ranch. It could be broken down and act as something else, something different. So that's sort of the idea behind that. This pump did its job, filtered all that water, so let's get it broken down. The cable's broken down, and then run our chlorine pipe through it. So I did sort of bridge these two sides here. That is not lost on me, which is fine. I intentionally did it. And we'll get rid of the rest of that slime lung. And as you can see, the slime lung over here is already starting to die back due to the buddy bud. You know, duking it out with the... because floral scent acts as a germ. It's happening over here as well. Beautiful. And if I just strategically put deodorizers where the problem is most prevalent, we don't have to be perfect, but I do want to push it back. I want to try to get our air cleaner than what it currently is. right. Well, that's looking good. Hello, you don't belong here. Did we fill up? Nope, we have not. You just didn't wrangle when the incubator popped. I got it. Nah, no problem. Okay, we're still working on the sweeping. Our hydrogen and natural gas supply looks plentiful. Another little project I'm going to have to work on is, this is the petroleum line right here. This petroleum line is going to have to ascend differently. Like that. Because we'll need the sewer lines to come as well. And the petroleum is so that when we get jet suits, we can supply the jet suits with petroleum. They need petroleum, so that's why we have this petroleum reservoir and an oil refinery in the first place. It's for space exploration and space suiting around. It is a requirement. Alright, let's take a look. Germs are decreasing. We did have a bit of a... I will want to put a flower pot maybe back here. Let's check down here. Okay, most of this tunnel here is getting cleaned up. But there are definitely pockets of polluted oxygen that are just not becoming tidied. It's fine. We'll work on it. No, what I'm going to need to work on is... primarily is making sure that this giant pocket of polluted oxygen doesn't get all polluted. Because if that does, it's going to be hard to turn around. But I don't have infinite buddy buds, so that's another challenge, I suppose. With my limited buddy bud amount, I'm going to have to pick and choose where I want floral scent. And possibly focus on the areas that they're most important. Alright, sorry Shinebug, you're now infiltrating my bedrooms, so you gotta go. That was the rule all along. I'll keep it until it keeps me up at night. Shinebugs give you disturbed sleep. So we'll nix that. Okay, printing pods. Definitely we'll go for some lime. That's a material that I can't seem to get enough of, so... I'll try to lay off and not give my dupes anything new, so that I can make better progress on the sweeping. The natural gas is cooling off. The hydrogen is definitely cooling off as well. That's really, really good. Somewhat essential in order to be able to not have it add a lot of significant heat to my base. Once I add that area to my base, it'd be good, you know, to not have a giant heated swath of the map. So if I zoom out here, you'll actually see much more easily sort of the temperature. This sort of green here is comfortable, red is hot, blue is cold. It's very, very straightforward. up here now we have a pocket of severe cold because I was trying to chill it as it intakes. You have the gradient here as it wheezeworts act upon this geyser. The steam room and the steam in the room up top. And as you can see, there's a funny gradient here of temperatures of the natural gas. The higher you go, the hotter you go. Whereas hydrogen, the reason why you don't have that sort of gradient, hydrogen is a better conductor. Then we also have state change. So state change is like, hey, what is melting or freezing? So as you can see, the cold biomes, especially the ones I've plowed through, are at greater risk of state change. So let's... where's a cold biome that I haven't like messed with a lot? Well, really, as soon as you crack into any cold biome, it risks state change. But as you can see, yeah, a lot of them are they're high energy state, meaning that they are melting, which explains these giant puddles. And then temperature tolerance of how cool it is. You know, where it's too hot. So obviously the magma down below is going to be bright red. Very intolerant temperatures. But, okay, so that's enough of that. And gray is the comfort zone. Alright, continuing sweeping. Skill point earned. Paddy wagon. Nice. We'll give you... Oh, I should have done dig, but oh well. Storbeck, I'm going to finish off your super dig. Even though you're our cook and likely not to be using your digging skill when you aren't working as a cook, I guess it wouldn't hurt. Alright, doing a little germ checkup. So this buddy bud looks like it's about to start pushing floral scent here. Yep, I thought I saw it. But yeah. It's pushing it back. Same with this one. So pretty soon we'll have, yep, this one's starting to push floral scent. We'll start to have floral scent overtake over the slime lung. Again, it's not in my base, so it's not that great of a threat, but it's still something I want to do. It's on the cusp of being too cold here. I might need to move this buddy bud over to the right a little bit more where it's slightly warmer. Now there are some buddy buds in my base that maybe I don't need. So I don't need this one as much. So I'm going to dig this one up and replace it with a mirth. Or briar, rather. And then I can use it for floral scent elsewhere. Let's get briar in there. And this buddy bud will get planted. And these buddy buds here were here to push back slime lung that really doesn't exist anymore. So a lot of these could be removed as well. They've sort of served their purpose. On the other hand, removing them might then change the situation where whatever they were trying to fight against, the slime lung in this instance, does have the ability to take over. But so funny enough, it looks like these guys were... Oh, this one's gone. These guys were fighting were making the petroleum line. Oh well. A lot of that line was already built. Alright, so it is too cold here for this buddy bud to thrive. As far as I can tell, there's no slime lung up here. It's mostly purified oxygen too, so it's not like slime lung could last very long. Now, in terms of the base... Oh, let's go with temperature now. Yes, so in terms of the base temperatures being intolerant, as you can see, these Wheezeworts have done a very wonderful job of carving out or reclaiming this temperature, this area's original temperature, to the point where I probably could deconstruct this one here and replant it up here where the incubators are, because incubators do generate a considerable amount of heat. It would be good to offset that. Just making sure I'm not having any heating problems anywhere else while I'm watching. Because those germs, they really did catch up. So the body temperature of my mealwood is looking a little fussy as well. That's something I could definitely work towards, making sure that my... right now my Drecos are glum because of the lack of food source. So I'm going to high priority put planter boxes in there. And I could pull... Let's see where I could pull Wheezeworts from. So I could probably pull Wheezeworts from up here. I could pull this one at the very least. Or some other purposeless Wheezeworts. Pull this one as well. And this one. Because the Drecos being able to eat is kind of important. Just a little bit. So we'll get those planted in. And this should drop the temperature down. So the mealwood here wants to be between 10 and 30 or, you know, something along those. And it's too warm right now. But a few Wheezeworts and the temperature there should drop dramatically very, very quick. I could have also planted Wheezeworts in the farm plants themselves if I didn't want to put a flower pot, or a planter box rather, but this way is just fine. Okay, Bryce, you don't need any more skills. You're all tapped out. Okay, we should see the body temperature there is dropping. Speaking of temperatures dropping, let's continue to dig up the few remaining Wheezeworts that exist. I think I have almost all of them. Alright, let's sweep that one. So this exploration tunnel over here did its job. And we'll start digging off this way. Actually, I think I'd be more comfortable with this being lower. So we don't get oil spilling on us. Alright, so that's that exploration tunnel. Good. What about over here? So there's some that I haven't explored yet. Let's continue this ladder down. And this will have to snake around. It's maybe not the most efficient way of getting there, but I've already committed to this path, so I'm gonna take it. Get some printing coal. Alright, almost unswept. We're very, 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 very close. I'll put this back up to 9 now that I no longer have any other pressing emergency type things. As you can see, this is now fluorescent. All of this is fluorescent. Pretty much the slime lung is gone. This is fluorescent as well. There's still a pocket of slime lung here. I think we're just waiting for this buddy bud, but this buddy bud is not going to be able to survive here. So this flower pot's kind of pointless because it's way too cold. So I'll break that down. And then this is all fluorescent as well. This soon will be. Yeah, so most of the airborne slime lung. Now some of it I can't really do easily. I'll put deodorizers in here to try to purify. So the other way, you could either put fluorescent up or you can make sure you have pure oxygen. So the other way is I'm going to have a bunch of deodorizers around here to help purify this oxygen. You would not be incorrect if you called this pointless. You'd be right, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because I do not care if it is a pointless project. Alright, so that's the end of that tunnel. This should reveal the remainder, and it looks like there was another oil reservoir, or two that I hadn't yet, I hadn't seen prior. But, yep, there it is. Alright, let's take a look at the sweeping. Oh, very, very, very close to being done. So once we're finished sweeping, let's go to my construction. I want to prioritize making a wall here, so that we can insulate this from the outside of the map, which is going to be fairly important to do, to keep our dupes safe. And then I could probably just create a ladder here or something like that, allowing us to have access to the power station area of the base without getting into too much trouble. Alright, so how's those mealwood? Nope, hasn't yet cooled down. That's not good. It's teeter-tottering. Actually, you know what? I might do that. Let's uproot just to plant some Wheezewort in the farm, and that will have the most effect because it will be right there. I think that will be faster. I didn't want to go that route, but it seems like it's going to be necessary for the survival of our Drecos. So I let the temperature creep a little bit too high there. Yeah, here's a perfect example of the load bearing, where this pipe had a backup, and we just filled it. So we are just about done sweeping. They're not hauling very efficiently, but I don't know. They work tirelessly every day, so who am I to complain? They're doing a pretty good job. Right over here was going to be Wheezewort to offset the heat of the incubators, and then we'll put Wheezewort in here and here to help cool down the mealwood farms, because they got a little too warm. We're building this external wall so that we can enclose this new area to become part of our base. Another thing I haven't checked in a while is the 9 critters. Okay, so we have too many glossies right now. You're already... Oh, you're max age. Let me kill a few, then. Just to add a little bit overhead. You're really old. And you're really old. Okay, that's enough glossies to be killed. What about you guys? You're old. Very, very old. Okay, that should be enough overhead so that we don't run into any population issues for a bit. Hatches are a little bit harder to kill, so I'm avoiding killing them if I can help it, because it will wound us, whereas Drecos are not such tough creatures. We do have a lot of idleness, and a lot of this idleness is just because we have a limited amount of suits. So that's another thing that I want to remedy, is in the next suit dock here, having plenty of space to expand to. so that we can have a lot of suits and a lot of people outside the base at one time. But I, my friends, am out of time. So I know we just pushed more towards the checkpoint. I think the way I demoed it gives you sort of an idea of how it will be laid out. I might, of course, change my mind as time goes on if the requirements of my base change. But if you have any feedback from me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, everybody.